Hello and welcome back, guys, to the third lecture, How to Reassess Your Chess by Jeremy Silman. This is lecture 3. In the first two lectures, we talked about balances in general and we talked about planning. I gave you some games as examples, and today we're gonna finish chapter 1 of the book. It's a big chapter. We're gonna finish it today, and after that we'll just go ahead and go deep with each imbalance, knights, bishops, open files one by one, and we're gonna just help you take maximum advantage of your position. So today we have the last part of the chapter 1. Talk to the board and the board will talk to you. When you're standing playing a chess game, you have to talk to the board, and most of us already do. You already do that unconsciously in your mind. When you have a certain position and it's your turn to play, you're unconsciously talking to yourself. But you're saying to yourself, okay, I take this, he takes that. Is that a threat? Do I win by doing this? All of these simple ways of thinking cannot make you win in chess. There are other ways that are also simple, even simpler, because it doesn't always include calculations, and it will make you understand what you have and understand what the opponent has. That's the most important thing. You're gonna learn something called the Armageddon discourse. No, it's not Armageddon that decides a chess tournament or something like that. It's a discourse. It's not that game with no increment, okay? The Armageddon discourse. Armageddon is, I think, something historical, some kind of battle that happened or something like that. But I'm gonna explain to you guys what is a term according to the book. Let's start. Everyone has some sort of internal dialogue when it's their turn to move. Most players stare blankly at the board and think, I go there and he goes here. So, calculations. It's pure calculation, usually based on fear, aggression, or simply the desire to find something. That seems reasonable. However, if I stopped you from calculating and asked you, can you verbally break down this position for me? The odds are that your answer wouldn't be lecture worthy. And this is a fact. If you're below, let's say, 1300, you're not really thinking about the position critically. You're just thinking about threats, direct threats, and simple take moves. You're not really seeing forward. And the way to remove that way of processing is to take the habit of imbalances and of planning. It's a habit. After you finish this video, I want you to go ahead and play 2 or 3 or 4 games, rapid, and take your time. The result does not matter. Just try to completely adopt the Armageddon discourse, okay? And I'm gonna explain it to you. Just bear with me. These words are very important, okay? This is 2 pages of the book, so I'm trying to break it down to some minutes, but it's important. You have to understand this. This is very important stuff, okay? Make no mistake about this. At any given moment, you should be able to lecture other players about the pros and cons of any position you reach. And if you can't put your thumb on the pulse of the position, if you don't know what both sides need to accomplish, then how are you going to find the right move? It's like asking for driving directions to an unknown place. That's right. You have to know what's at least the midterm position that you want to reach. You want to know, for example, I see a position and I see that my opponent, for example, has the space advantage and he has a material advantage. He's a pawn up, for example. But I see an outpost for my knight. So I'm thinking, okay, long term, or at least after 5 moves, I want my knight to be planted on that outpost so that the imbalances are at least almost the same. They give us the same odds of winning the game or drawing or whatever, but you don't need to make 1 move threats. You need to make 2, 3, 4 move threats that will at the end plant that knight on the outpost by getting rid of the bishop, for example, or the pawn, or whatever that's guarding that place. That's just an example, okay? That's why most players feel lost at sea. They feel they don't know what's going on, and so try to patch up the cracks by looking for threats and or looking for ways to create them. They know something's wrong, something is missing, but they don't know what to do about it. And this creates a feeling of powerlessness. Trust me when I tell you that it doesn't have to be this way. Once you master the imbalances, now it's time to go, I want to master the next level. I want to know what's next. So, okay, you know the imbalances now. What's next? If you read this book from beginning to end, you will master the imbalance, that's for sure, but for now, it will be time to get up close and personal with the board. In general, you can figure out a good deal about any position by doing the following. First up is the Armageddon discourse. Okay, now we got to the real part that you really want to understand. I want you maybe to write this down. If you have a great memory, you don't need to, but if you really want to upgrade your chess level, write this down. Armageddon discourse. Make sure you are aware of any crude threats by the opponent, and also do a quick search for any basic tactical themes that might be present. This is usually done subconsciously by players 1800 and up. Are you 1800? If you're 1800 or up, you already do this. This first part is not for you. But if you're below 1800, and I think most of the viewers are way down 1800, and that's not a problem. I've been 900 at some point. So the first thing is make sure you are aware of any crude threats by an opponent. Listen, bro, how many times you were winning the position, you were completely taking care of your pieces, you were attacking him, not making him able to protect his king, not making him able to develop his pieces. But in one move, in just one move, he moves the queen up the board, he checks your king, and now you're in big trouble, because next the bishop will come, or he will checkmate you, and lost all of the momentum, all of the advantage you had in one move, because you didn't think before playing the last move, before looking at the imbalances, before talking to yourself even. The first thing, and it should come to your mind directly, does he have a threat? Does my opponent have a threat? Can he move the queen and reverse the game like that? Can he move the bishop? Is that rook going to sacrifice itself and put me in danger? The first thing you have to think about is danger. Am I in danger? If I'm not in danger, then I can see the imbalances. Okay? So he's saying if you're 1800 and up, you do this subconsciously. However, if you are lower rated, you are prone to blunders or feel that you have serious tactical issues, then it's a good idea to take a few moments to get on top of this stuff. Okay? After this video, take some time, play some games, and the first thing before each move is, am I in danger? Are there any crude threats, rapid threats? And once you've made sure that Thor's hammer isn't going to descend on your head, I like this. Once you've made sure that Thor's hammer isn't going to descend on your head, it's time for loftier considerations. Ascertain the imbalances for both sides. That's the second thing. Ascertain the imbalances for both sides, not only for yourself. That's what usually bad players, relatively lower rated players, don't do. You have to think about your imbalances and especially his imbalances. Then ask the board in an internal dialogue, that's the third thing, what move or series of moves tries to take advantage of these factors. What series of moves will make me use the imbalances? So, the Armageddon discourse, once again. Am I safe? Is my king safe? Can he make any quick threat with the queen, with the bishop? Can he sacrifice something and put me in danger? The second thing, okay, that's cleared. We're good. The second thing, imbalances. What are my imbalances? What is his imbalances? Does he have space advantage? Do I have an open file? So on and so forth. The third thing, okay, I've seen the imbalances. How can I make use of them? Mr. Jeremy Silman says, pretty simple. Let me stress once again that you should not be after plans. Don't allow yourself to get distracted with the P word. Okay, plans are important. But if you're thinking about it from the second move, you're thinking, if he takes, I can move my knight to d5 maybe in the future. No. Okay, no. Don't focus too much with the P word, the plan word. Okay? Play normal chess, see the imbalances. If you think you have a good plan, that happens like twice a game, maybe only once a game. You see the plan, you see where your pieces should be. That usually happens in the late middle game. In the middle game, you see some kind of plan. It's not on each move that you think about a long-term plan. Each move you should just think about the imbalances and the threats. Let's see how the imbalances can dictate the course that both players take in a game. And here we have an example of the game between Grandmaster Kamsky and Topalov again. That was played in 2009. So the first moves are basic and the author doesn't really talk about them. Okay, we have e4, c6, d4, normal opening moves. These are two grandmasters, don't forget about this. This is a key moment, but it's not very important for us. He takes with the knight, he develops the knight. See here, when he developed the knight here, what did he lose? He lost momentum in development. He had to develop this bishop somewhere. But he decided, you know what, I cannot develop my knight here, so let me put it here. Kamsky, I'm sure this is some theory of preparation of the opening, but that gave some advantage to white, at least long term. And as you can see, the bar says 0.4, but well, 0.4 is nothing but putting the knight in front of your bishop. A grandmaster can do it, you cannot. Do not do this, okay? Just develop your pieces normally. So we continue with the moves. Takes with a knight here. And until this move, this is where we start the analysis. Okay, so we have Kamsky with the white pieces and Topalov with the black pieces. White dialogue. It's white to play now. Okay, he's going to play bishop to g7 and tie me down to the defense of the e5 pawn. Because now it's attacked by two pieces, but I have only one piece defending it. My main pluses are the hole on f6. See how he thinks? He thinks about the imbalances. He now, by this move, by pushing the g-pawn, he left a hole. If I put a knight here, it would be great. So my main pluses are the hole on f6 that g6 created, a lead in development, and his central king. So what is White thinking about? He's thinking, okay, he doesn't have any direct threat now. We're still in the opening. Okay, let me think about the imbalances. Okay, first of all, I have a hole here. Second of all, my king is castled. He's safe. But he doesn't have any good development. I have a lead in development because his king is not castled, so it's not safe. His bishop is still stuck on the f8. He cannot really put it on this file now. His dream, Black's dream, is just bishop to g7 and castles, and then his king is safe. He's no longer in a deficit of development, let's say, and his position is very fine. Like, he can play chess, but I cannot allow him to do that. I should not allow him to just get away with one of the imbalances. I should punish the imbalances, okay? So this is white still, so I have to get something going before he rectifies those problems with the simple bishop to g7 and castles. Okay, so now white is thinking about options. And here, what would you play? Just pause the video and tell me what would you play. Okay, here white had three big ideas. The first one is bishop to g5. But after thinking about it, he didn't choose it. Why? Because he said, okay, black will just simply play g7 still. And after I go here and he takes, yeah, I have a good pawn there, but what if he plays this? He will win the pawn. He's gonna be able to castle his king long term, and he's just gonna win a pawn. And as you can see, the evaluation bar agrees with him. So he didn't do that. The second idea he had is queen to d2. His idea is to go bishop to h6 and exchange the bishops here. So yeah, queen to d2. Black will still go ahead and play bishop to g7. And after I go ahead and threaten a trade by moving the bishop to h6, Black is not obliged to take. He can just simply castle, and then his king is safe. He's developed. I would say that he has a very decent position, and he's threatening to take this pawn. So white here didn't really find a real clear plan to take advantage of the imbalance. After thinking for a while, he decided, you know what? I know a rule in chess. If your opponent didn't really develop his pieces and his king isn't castled, you have to open up the position. c4. Congrats if you found this move. And the idea behind it is after he takes, I will take, and a trade of everything will probably happen, and his king is still not safe, and the bishop will probably go here, and he will step by step gain more advantages and win the game. I know it's 0.2 now on the engine, but it's very hard from a human perspective to keep this game alive for black for long term. Okay, after this move we have a black dialogue. So Topalov basically saying, okay, this move which tries to open up the position he knows makes a lot of sense. However, if he captures on d5, my knight will find a great home there. And there is a bishop versus knight battle, so I want my knights to be as well placed as possible. Since none of this worries me, I will continue with my intended bishop to g7 and force his hand. So Topalov is basically saying, I'm not obliged to take this. I'm not obliged to open up the position. If he wants to take, he can go ahead and take after. So he's saying, okay, I'll just continue with the plan, and I'm not obliged to take. If he takes, if white decides to take here, I will just take with my knight, and it's a great position for my knight. And next is just castle, and my position is great. This is a great knight that will not be removed soon, because there's no pawn here. So we get the move bishop to g7, white dialogue. He's about to castle, so I have to follow through with c takes d5. Okay, he continues with his plan. I have to open up the position. He takes, and knight takes back as expected. Black dialogue here. I can't be worse with a knight like this. This is a legendary knight. Well, not legendary, but great. Legendary knight will be somewhere in the 6th rank. We will discover that soon in the next lecture, because it's all about knights. Next, we have bishop to c5. Okay, what is white trying to do with this move? He's trying to prevent black from castling. It's the same imbalance. I'm not letting you get your king in a safe place. I'm not gonna let you castle. Well, you tell me, what if I just kick your bishop away? Well, then I have this great move that, you know, pins the knight to the king, and the knight is no longer defended here, so you can't really do anything. If you try to go here, for example, of course, if you take, I take and I win your rook because it's check. And if you, for example, try to defend here, I just go with my bishop to the heart of the position, and this pawn is defended twice, and you can never castle, literally. And I'm still having this pin, this great pin, and I'm winning. As you can see, it's four points. So yeah, you cannot kick that bishop, and of course that's not what a grandmaster does. So Topalov here plays a very interesting move, which is, okay, you know what, let's trade that nasty bishop, and I will castle manually, which means after you take here, I will take and then move my king here and bring my rook to the e file, and I'm castled. It's not a direct castle, I lost a move, but overall in this position I have great knight. My king is safe. I didn't lose any real tempo, and I got rid of that nasty, great dark squared bishop of yours. So Topalov was really thinking about, okay, he has a great bishop. I have a mediocre bishop. That's an imbalance. He has a superior minor piece, and he's stopping me from castling. So let's exchange a great bishop for a bad bishop that I have. And white here thinks, and then he insists on keeping the advantage. Queen to c1. If you take, I will take back on c5, and I'm still stopping you from castling. I'm still trying to keep that small imbalance. Yes, there are less pieces on the board, which is bad for me, because I'm pushing, but I still have very good chances, especially with this bishop coming here and these two rooks going to open great files. I have good chances. And also white is threatening this. If the bishop moves away, he can go ahead and plant the great queen on h6, and that will be really, really nasty for the black pieces. The Topalov here responds with rook to c8. And he's basically just eyeing this queen, because after you take, I can move this horse somewhere, and I'm directly eyeing your queen, so you will be in trouble. Bishop takes f8, and black does not take, but goes horse to d4. What does knight to d4 does? Well, first of all, it attacks this bishop, and second of all, it's eyeing the queen, the plan that black had. Okay, my position is a bit messed up, my pieces are not great on the first rank, I have two great knights, yes, but my king is not happy there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away his bishop, and I'm going to put pressure on his queen. Of course, the bishop here will be traded 100%. So there we have queen to d1, trying to, of course, protecting this bishop. There's no genius move behind it. Black takes with check, the queen takes, and finally black takes the loose bishop at the right time. He should not have taken the bishop the moment it was offered to him. He should not have taken it here, because then he could not trade this normal knight for this not great, but potentially great bishops. Because in open positions, as you know, bishops are better than knights. And this has a prophecy to be in open positions. There are not too many pawns. It's not closed position. The pawns didn't really start to march. So a bishop will be happier in the endgame. And so the queen takes, the king takes. Here white offers an exchange of the rooks, but black of course refuses, because he will not just give an open free file for the white pieces. This is an advantage we did not want to give it. Okay, and also he lost the importance of taking the king to a safer g7 square. So this is what's happened, and here both players agreed to draw. Well, if you're playing this, you should not take the draw, because you're still a normal player, amateur player, but these are grandmasters, and they see that, okay, two pawns on the queen side, 3 pawns on the king side, or 4 pawns on the king side, knight, there's no imbalance, and yeah, queen and 2 rooks placed similarly. There's no big advantage for any of them. The bar also, it admits that, and here it's a draw. So this is a great example, guys, of how to play chess, and of the imbalances, and of the Armageddon discourse. I hope you guys still remember the most important thing of today, the Armageddon discourse. Now I want you to close the video, to go ahead to chess.com, play some games, or lead chess or whatever, play some games, and think, first of all, in this position, after the opening, of course, you should not take a lot of time. Play the opening, and then in each position think about, okay, is there a threat on me? Can he really threaten me directly with a quick move that will really take me by surprise? If that's the case, deal with it, defend, okay? The second thing is imbalances. What are my imbalances? What are his imbalances? And after you discover them, take some time, of course, to discover them, The third thing is, how can I take advantage of the imbalances? By planning and by just putting some abstract ideas for long-term positions. So long-term, in this position, for example, long-term, white wants to put his knight here on f6. Long-term here, black wants to take over the c file somehow. Long-term, black has a closer king to the center. So he's thinking about getting rid of this pawn, maybe exchanging some pieces and going to the middle of the board. Not now, of course, after exchanging pieces. Let's say it's rook versus rook and your king is closer to the center, you're winning. So yeah, that's the idea I want to really underline today. I hope you guys understood the concept. And just a quick note, if you like the videos and you like the lectures, there aren't many views really, so if you really want to support me, just click the like and subscribe button and share it to your friends. Maybe someone wants to learn chess, your father, your brother, whoever wants to learn chess, you can just give him this video, especially if he doesn't really have time to read the full book. That's it for today, guys. Hope I will see you soon.